All right, we back, y'all. We back. We was waiting on some folks to come on from the other side of Kemet. It seems to be that they have some type of absent T ballot going on. I don't know where they're at. Okay, so but we wanted to discuss and open up a discussion with them, just brothers, and I guess they have some sisters over there too that had specific schools of thought. Now, earlier in the week, I had a conversation with Garfield in regards to who built the pyramids. And a lot of folks saw that. A lot of folks saw it. A lot of folks was asking questions in regards to what we believe or what facts that we come up with. And we have not brung that out yet. We're not bringing it out yet. What we want to do is make sure 100% we get an understanding of why the folks that kind of lean to what the Egyptologists say or Kemet, we want to get something concrete from them, because that's what my question was. So what a lot of folks heard in the discussion that I had with Garfield, you heard, the questions being asked show certain things in regards to how these things were built. He mentioned something about a copper saw, sand, and water. He mentioned that. And he said that that's how primarily these stones was cut. If you folks, I'll post in the link and y'all can go back and watch it, whoever didn't see it. But the point is, I had some it was very difficult for me myself to conceive, just even understand how copper can cut, number one, granite and basalt. So, I'm looking at it, and he starts to go on his rant and his attack in regards to how Israel always deals whenever knowledge comes out. So, we go back and forth a little bit, and the different schools of thoughts on both sides, they were throwing in their little tidbit comments and things of that nature. But no one never still brung up anything concrete for as how was these things built? How was these megalithical structures built? So this is not popular to a lot of Israelites. They don't really understand. I'm going to just give you a little brief understanding. We've been studying Kemet for so long in regards to the structures. No one cares about the religion that they were in because it failed. If you care about a religion or whatever false gods it was, it failed them. It failed. 100%. You can't argue that. It failed. Okay. So now, the question comes in. I was like, okay, well, he comes back and says, are you an archaeologist, or do you know about this or that? I said, well, I don't claim to be that, but who would care anything of what we're saying in regards to Egypt, because that's supposed to be what y'all feel the study is. You behind that 100% saying that they built this. So that's where the discussion went. So I went and called up some other people. Now, let me say this. I called Brian Forrester, who from the History Channel, who automatically understood the same principles in regards to how certain things have to be cut. Because before talking to him, we talked to the team of excavators, the people who actually look at these structures all over the world, and they went, there's no way. I mean, we can't even with our excavators move some of these stones. There's stones that they tried to cut and move is still over there. So speaking with a lot of those folks, I'm only touching a little bit of it. I'm not bringing out everything. Let me just say this. There's over 198 different sources. They got to fight against that. So if you claim that the dynastic period Egyptians built those great pyramids, then you have to contend with some things. And this is what I wanted them to elaborate tonight. Tonight was supposed to be their grand, we're going to give you the revelation of how this stuff was built. We got a professor and everything. Okay. So we're gonna show you some. We're gonna show y'all a little bit of things. Number one, we're just gonna show you some little things right now because we still in hope. This is the thing. When it comes down to knowledge, and it comes down for us to communicate. Let me try to share this link. When it comes down to us to share it on my page, not that. Share it on my page. When it comes down to the link that this is broadcasting on. When it comes down to sharing information and knowledge, a lot of times what our people tend to do is they tend to create arguments. Like one of the arguments that was brung out is that they said that this man was pseudo. That's their favorite word. Pseudo, pseudo, pseudo. Well, we're not caring about any academics that are his breakdowns of whatever it is. We care about eyewitness testimonies. Sir, did you go here, and how many times, and what did you see? We don't even want to know what you see. All right? And this is from a whole bunch of folks. But now let's go to some sources for you real quick. I'm going to go to some sources. Yeah, just put it on there for them. Just my page. Hang on, I'm going to do it. Hang on 1 second. You got it? Yeah, go ahead. So, it's on there? Okay. Check it real quick for him. So this supposed to be for a lot of folks to really start the question within Khemet, because that's why we labeled it the destruction of Khemet. Because after you start asking some concrete questions, the weight of your questions weigh down on whatever doctrine it is. That's why Israel, you have to study. All right, you have to study to show yourself approved. But now, I gotta post it. Okay, let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can do it. Hang on, bear with me, y'all. You know, I want to open up this school of thought to a lot of different brothers that's, you know, scholars and learning and, you know, looking into this topic. So hang on for a second. Let me make sure I can get this link. All right. Hang on. So, let me see. There you go. There you go. All right. That should be on. All right. Give me that picture of that stone, number one, that was on the truck. Give me the picture of the stone on the truck. Yeah. If you just, I want to show this first, and the reason why I'm showing this is that this stone, yeah, you can turn it. This stone that's on this truck right here, you can zoom in a little bit on it. They're quarrying stones in Egypt and trying to move stones with vehicles that have ratings to be able to move it, but the vibration, lower that down, but the vibration of the rock itself caused this truck to break. Just this rock. This rock was underneath 8 tons. Under 8 tons. You have rocks in stones in Egypt that's 400 plus stones. 400 tons. 400 tons. You have stones 10 ton. A 10-ton stone. The average stone that's been estimated there was between 2.5 to 10 tons. All right, the average stone. Now that's I'm just showing y'all some basic stuff because we're not gonna give everything out tonight because the reason why we still in high hopes that these you know brothers and sisters may come out of this stuff, you know, to come back to their senses and stop romanticizing Egypt, because that's what's been happening to our people a lot. They've been romanticized. Okay, so now let me say something about this. The guy that I was speaking with from the History Channel, I asked him a question in regards to specifically what Garfield told me about the saw and the sand and how they moved the rocks and all kind of stuff. They produced pictures. And it was laughable. It's almost comedy. And the reason why, I don't think a lot of brothers and sisters understand the sheer magnitude of moving a stone of that size. First of all, cutting it to that size, then moving it. But the mileage that they had to move it is over 600 miles. So you mean to tell me you took men with ropes and you drove these stones 600 miles? 600 miles. I just want people to think you have to be naive in some mind state to really believe this. So somehow they use the sand will allow a stone to be dragged across it. Well, they did. We got a clip for you. They did research to see how that would work. Not even with the heaviest stone like they were moving. Not even with a heavy stone like they're moving. Play it for them. Wet sand theory. Look at the sand. Pause it. Rewind it a little bit. Rewind it a little bit. This is wet sand. Let it go. Right there. This is wet sand. This is wet compacted sand. It's buckling. That's why when we asked the question about it, he said, I heard they're using milk now. This stuff is comical. So this is not even the level of stone. This is not even the weight, nearly the weight of one of the smallest stones. So they're testing this out, and the sand buckles. You have a problem with that theory. Number 2, you can take that down. That's just pure comedy. Now, I got a book from 1700s. It's show this book real quick. It's the manner of the Egyptians or whatnot. Yeah, manner and custom of the Egyptians. And I believe it's from the 1700s. Anyway, this book right here is very disturbing, and I want to ask these folks a question. I want to ask any person in Khemet a question about this. In this book, give me the shoe. It's a whole bunch of things in here. But in this book, it's explaining how the Egyptians had their shoemaking. They were shoemakers. It says a group of shoemakers are here seen at their vocation. The one at the right hand is sewing a sandal sole, has recourse to the primitive, I didn't use that word, primitive mode of tightening his thread with his teeth. Wait a minute. So you have Egyptians of the dynastic period. They can cut stone at the precision. They can cut it precisely. They can move stones 700 miles. They can take stones from Tanis and move it 85 miles effortlessly. You don't even see the ropes. Where are the ropes at for this stuff? You don't see none of that. They can do all of that, but they're using primitive methods to make sandals, shoes. That's not making any sense. You got to explain this. If you have a civilization, and let me talk to the scholars for a minute, those people who are who have read and understand the Egypt in general, far as it being a civilization. My question to you folks, is Egypt a global civilization? Is Egypt a global civilization? Is it the ruling class of power on earth? And if you believe that, you have to show me something. You're gonna have to show me something. And I'm not gonna say what it is, because if someone go, yeah, you can see pyramids all over the earth. That's true. But the pyramids, by you making that statement, you've just told me that there's some type of global architecture out there. And then you have to show me proof that the Egyptians visited these folks and they have the same languages. Then you're going to fail. We know that glyphs was taken. We know that stones all over the earth have keystones. I mentioned that. I mentioned the keystones in the interview. I mentioned that. He said yes. In every culture where we found these rocks, these type of megalithic rocks, they all have keystones cut into them. It's all there. They're all there. So this is some type of global architecture. But you mean to tell me an advanced civilization that can go global then, it has to make shoes by doing primitive methods, by tightening their teeth? Give me a break. Doing it with their teeth? Give me a break. All right. Now, this is an account from another person. I'm going to give you the name of the book. I don't know if they put that other book back up there so they can see it. Somebody might they might go and try to purchase this. But these stones go to the problem, the drill saw. These stones that are cut in the interview, the drill saw, these stones that were cut, and we're not going too deep with this because they still got to answer questions. But these are from people who have worked in the industry over 50 years, cutting stones completely with all type of materials. Some of these people are Army Corps of Engineer, meaning they know what it takes to build something, and they have resources to the best tools. There's one person, this is what he wrote. I can read it. It says, a while back, some fellows examined the geometry of lines on the sides of large blocks near the pyramid. Turns out that they are curves and show a circular saw about 30 feet in diameter and a high feed rate. Do you realize a circular saw 30 feet in diameter? They measured it with a high feed rate, meaning this thing is moving so fast through these stones. We don't have that technology right now. And what kind of horsepower is that? So what kind of tool you're going to use to cut granite at that high rate of speed? Because even today they use diamond and it breaks. What is it? Something like 600. They got like they got to change it like something like anywhere between 540 and 600 hours. Problematic. All right. Now let's go. I just want to show another thing. We're not bringing all this out. Go to the Karnak. So in accounts from some, we're gonna bring out all of this if they ever come out of the closet. So in this account, we're reading out of the same book for some of the customs, and this is eyewitness accounts that the manuscripts that they got from eyewitness accounts. Okay, they went to Karnak it said it was a miserable village. Miserable village. Now, what people don't know about this is they've excavated. That's what some of the other sources that we're going to bring on. Some of the people who actually been there and actually took the measurements. They've been there when they pulled other heavy stones sucked the water out, and it said it was 0 glyphs on it. 0 glyphs. That being underwater, you got a problem. Shouldn't there have been some glyphs on there if it comes from dynastic period? Okay. Number 2, and I'm still waiting for any Khemet brother that's listening, anybody in Khemet. Can you please show me some hieroglyphics in the Great Pyramid? Because I've spoken to maybe like 13 folks who've actually been inside of there. I'm taking a trip myself just to destroy Khemet completely. But the point is, everyone has spoken to this, that there's 0, they have not found any hieroglyphics. Yeah, your greatest work. And where is it at? Secondly, every scholar that I've spoken with that have went there, every scholar, this is not it has not been not one. I'm talking about scholars now, people who are doing research. I'm not talking about what Brian Forrester is doing. He's actually going there examining. That's different. We're talking about scholars who are looking at all aspects of what they're doing. They all said that this has the appearance that the dynastic period Egyptians have a lower grade technology. Basically, they're building, whatever they built is trash compared to what those stones are built. It's trash. Not one scholar has said that it has not been different. Like, oh, yeah, that's up to par. Not one. Matter of fact, it was said that like they have some stones that they drew on and said look like kids drew on it. Said look like kids drew on it. So I want some folks to really reach out to the Khemet community and start to ask these questions, all right? Start to ask these questions. I mean, if you saying that that's pseudo. Whatever information we bringing out is pseudo. We're not the people who are saying that we're into Khemet. You are. So what we want them to do, folks, go back to the shoe picture. We want them to do this is you're a criminal at this point. You're a criminal. Because what we want you to do is to prove not only with the Saw situation is completely done. I mean, I don't know if you can pull that up, but the frustration level of what they tried to do. Yeah, I think it was. Let me see if I can get it for y'all. I don't know if they saw it. It should have been on my page. The frustration level of them trying to saw into the rocks was so high that they got into a scrimmage. They got into an argument. They had to cut the camera. They got into an argument behind it. I don't know where it's at. I'll post the clips up for y'all because what we wanted to do, we wanted to make sure that, they come on and we got to ask them questions. Everybody is wondering. This is the biggest question in the world right now. Who built the pyramids? Who built the pyramids? We have some nugget proofs from out of all these sites, data from every site that leads to something so concrete and so profound, it's going to blow your mind away. It's going to blow your mind away. And let's say this. We're speaking with excavators who've been to Iceland and Antarctica, and they've drilled in, and even them themselves understood certain principles of destruction. Tanis, when spoke to Brian Forrester, he said it looked like Tanis was hit by some type of unimaginable heat, and that the sand, the very sand there, is like flour. The last thing I want to say to y'all We're waiting on them to come on. We're going to revisit this. The last thing I want to say is that when you're looking at the ancient world and you're looking at these heavy stones, I don't care if it's in Rome. I don't care if it's from the Roman time period. I don't care if it's from the Incas. I don't care if it's the Egyptians. They all these sites, they have so many sites still being discovered. They have one thing in common. They have been in the midst of doing their works, and it was immediately cut off. Immediately. They said it looked like people just, you have some things that look like that they had started cutting and didn't get to finish it because of instant destruction. Instant destruction. Okay? So, you got it? Run it for them real quick. It might have got taken off. But here what you're seeing is that they're trying to chip it with primitive tools. It's not working. It's not working at all. Minimize it, see if it's on the browser, maybe the sound. All right. Try it now. No.
Okay, well, what is actually going to do the cutting? It seems to me that copper is just going to blunt.
When Roger tries chisels made from bronze, the results are disappointing.
As you can see, we're
Pause
just
that.
leaving a lot of metal and very little stone.
So to expect people who barely know how to barely making shoes to become some type of special rock chippers with these primitive tools is you have to be naive. Number one, you have to be crazy. Number two, how long would it take if you were some type of magician with this tool? How long would it take for you to sculpt this thing? Keep playing. Yeah, he's still chipping on it right now.
Bronze and copper tools of the time are at first sight too soft.
So you're going to chip a groove, and then you're going to put the copper and slide it back and forth. But how, and that's going to cut the granite?
No, Mark.
Even with teeth, the copper alone is too soft.
Okay, well, what is actually going to do the cutting? It seems to me that copper is just going to blunt on granite. I can't believe it's going to cut the stone.
We're going to put sand inside the groove, and we're going to put this saw on top of the sand, and then let the sand do the cutting.
All that needs to be done is to move the saw backwards and forwards in a nice, steady motion.
You don't want to lift it up and get those grains in there?
No, they'll work themselves in as it goes.
Yellow?
Okay. Yeah. That's it. Now, the stone weights at each end of the saw are putting the load onto the sand and causes the cutting. The crystal is forced to score a groove in the stone.
So the copper is only guiding the sand's doing the cutting.
Right.
Now, Dennis, will we see any progress in our lifetime?
Stop.
Yes?
Stop it. He said, Dennis, will we see any progress in our lifetime? This is what Garfield told me they used. You got over 2.3 million stones, and you want us to believe that somebody used this method, and the stones that are examined are curved. They have some type of curved beveling. And certain stones look like it's been turned, and grooves are on it like it's been turned on a lathe. So, but you want us to believe that they use this? All right, keep play on.
Will we see any progress in our lifetime?
Dennis thinks he can recreate
Dennis
these
thinks.
too.
Pause it.
Yeah, for the first few seconds.
Now they came and said they were mad at us because we brung on someone from the History Channel to prove what they saw out there. But yet you mentioned these guys, this Edomite Dennis. Dennis is who they mentioned is being proven that they can cut stones like this. And now he got these other two Edomites. He's standing on top of the stone, and he has some type of rock. And they're going to drill into this, and they're going to do it efficiently enough to prove to us that 2.3 million stones, or whatever the case may be, we can cut through this stuff. It don't make any difference. Well, let's see. They're going to cut through this.
No problem. 8 hours into it, I could see being a little sore.
Wall paintings confirm the existence of similar drills for wood.
Stop.
Hey, Dad.
Go back to that picture real quick. These pictures, you ain't cutting no granite. You ain't cutting granite. Yeah. Oh, these pictures confirm that they go dumb when it comes time to look at stuff like this. This stuff, even the way the drawings are, is not equivalent to what somebody could do with those stones. Yeah.
Didn't he say they claim that it was done in 20 years? That means that you have to do a stone in 2 minutes.
Yeah, they said that's true. They said it was done in 20 years. Yeah, so that you got a problem. You don't even have the lifetime of people. What was the amount of the civilization? Was everybody working on building a pyramid? And why would you do that? What possess a nation of people? Let's just give them credit. You built that. Why did you do that? What made you go through that labor right there to drag those rocks? Couldn't you build something else? Go ahead, man. You Khemet brothers got to come out of this madness. Come on.
But perhaps the Egyptians had more patient or tolerant workers.
What's the problem here?
What's
the
problem here?
There's not, without a steady stream of water, you're not getting new material in there to do the cutting action. You're not getting rid of the old powder, which is just interfering with the drill going down.
No, I disagree. No,
I beg to differ with you, Dennis.
No,
I beg to differ with you,
mad.
Dennis.
Agree. No,
I beg to differ with you, Dennis.
Dennis, you don't know a
Because
damn
that
thing.
fine powder is acting like a
no,
cushion and a polishing agent.
No, sand acts as a fluid as sand.
He's still
I've
trying
done
to
it for
cut him off.
25 years
That's
in the
pride,
field,
man.
and
He's saying he's been doing it for all those years.
That dude right there is he has a quarry out in California. That's him.
Well. Either way it goes, you had your shot to show and demonstrate that your copper tools can do the job, and it clearly can't. Now, you folks in Khemet is gonna be mad at that. But once again, don't hop on a post and throw up memes and different little pictures and dumb stuff like that. Show us tools. Give us some evidence what you did. We already showing you that in other writings. They say you didn't even have the capability to do making shoes right. So let alone now you want us to believe you did some type of stonework. Go to low level picture real quick. Good. I got one more thing to say before we. I mean, they didn't come through. Y'all can do y'all Google research and all this other stuff, but in the low level picture, it states that this is talking about y'all the whoever's in Khemet, how you did your sacrifices. This is how Khemet did their sacrifices. It said fine flour, a meal, cake of various kinds baked in the oven, cake baked on a griddle or a plate, cake baked on a plate, pierced with holes, first fruits of new corn, offered either pure and unmixed, roasted or parched, in the ear or out of the ear, but these have been already mentioned, as well as the offering of bread, salt, fruit, wine, oil, honey, and other things included under the name of mincha. I have also noticed the primitive nature of sacrifices. These are people who are going there researching the primitive nature of sex. If you have an advanced civilization that can build all these structures, how come everything we keep reading about is them being primitive? That's because, folks, you got to hold them to it. We're not saying nothing yet. You got to produce they got to produce something. We're not going into the Bible no more with these folks. Because we're not going into, you can't even deal with scriptures because you can't even show and prove on your own understanding. To tell us that someone drove, give me that picture, man. Somebody drove, let me see where it's at. What's the length? What's the length of, I'll tell you where it's at. Hang on. Yeah. Let me see this. Yeah. Give me the It's actually promo, the regular promo one. Is that it? Promo? Yep. Show me that. In this picture, folks, it says quarries for many different types of stones lie along the Nile. Most stones were transported on barges down the Nile. Granite for the king's chamber in Khufu's pyramid was brought over more than 900 kilometers from Aswan, and white limestone for the outer casing from Tura, a few kilometers south of Giza. Okay. They say it was brought on barges. We need to produce these barges that can bring these stones. You talking about stones that's 10 tons? Ancient ships show me the ancient Egyptian ships that can bring these stones down. This is why all the scholars are running and starting to reevaluate Egypt, because they realize all their calculations and everything they've been saying is not making sense, because these stones are showing up in other cultures, other civilizations. You have a problem. Okay. Promo 3 came. Promo 2. There we go. So 900 kilometers translates to roughly about 600 miles. You mean to tell me how many stones? Let's say you had a advanced barge. If you could I want someone to show us some Egyptian barges. But let's say you could do that and bring that down somehow, bring it through the Nile, whatever the case may be. Yeah, they need to prove some ships to us that can carry so much weight, which that technology for them to build ships at that weight is non-existent at that time period. Okay, so now 3. The average weight of stone by these people's own admission is the large limestone blocks weigh 6.5 to 10 tons. The smaller ones about 1.3 tons. For all calculations on this website, average weight of 2.5 tons was used on the pyramids. See, this is the problem that I have when you Google and when you look at stuff like this, because I'm putting up this information. This information is crazy, and we're showing you this. Because when someone goes to the actual site, when you have people that was actually there and documented it, all this stuff goes out the window. All of this stuff goes out the window. Most of the things that you're seeing is transferred by what they call Egyptologists, who are paid by universities and different schools of academia, period. Anything else we bring out right now, we're going to wait, all right? Y'all stay strong. Khemet got they got to answer some things, all right? They got to answer a lot of different things, and we're not bringing out anything. We want to see number 1 and 2. That's why I asked them to produce me a diamond. You don't find no Egyptian diamond. So produce me something other than copper, because we know that that's failed. So don't use copper and sand and water. We know that that's going to fail because there's the rate of speed in which the saw goes through, and it's also curvature. Eyewitness account by over 198 people. All right, people who went and actually looked and saw that these stones are cut with beveled edges, and certain stones have keystone cuts. Okay. All right, y'all. Shalom. Y'all have a wonderful Sabbath. All right. I know the comment boards is going to be completely utter madness, but at the end of the day, don't give us rhetoric. Put up how was these things cut. If you say it was copper, you're excluded. If you tell us copper cut granite stones, we're gonna consider you a non-scientific person. And don't Khemet supposed to be all about science? How are you getting bevel cuts and how are you getting laid cuts? We haven't even showed none of this. None of this stuff is being showed. All right, we're gonna hold back. We're gonna digress in hopes that y'all folks come on and show the truth. I don't know where Garfield at. Garfield is taking a nap. I don't. Garfield. I was holding a little bit of respect for you, but now you're looking very suspect. You know, and I don't know what's going on with you. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, okay. Tell us anything. Aliens, all kind of stuff gonna come out the woodworks now, folks. Everything's gonna come out the woodworks. Besides the fact that they own people they follow said that it was copper tools were used to cut these things. That's a lie, and we want you to prove otherwise. Okay, but for Israel, you already know. All right, Lord's will, as this cycle continues, Lord's will bring out all the evidence that we have gathered from a lot of different sites. There's a lot of different sites. We're still gathering evidence right now. I'm talking about sites in Lebanon, in Rome, in America, Montana. You talking about in South America. You talking about in the Caribbeans. You got all these stones everywhere. India, all these spots. How is these stones 900 tons being placed strategically? And you expect us to believe that it came from the Egyptian culture when it's all over the world? It's a global architecture, and it all stopped. All production of these stones all over the world stopped and halted at the same time. There's something coming to the earth. You brothers better repent, man, before it's too late. I know they're going to say, repent of what? Well, keep doing what you're doing. You'll find out. All right. Shalom. Most High in Christ bless y'all. Y'all stay strong. Happy Sabbath, y'all.
Romans chapter 11 and verse 1. I say then, hath God cast away his people?
As God cast away his people, you so-called blacks and Hispanics, the Israelites, have God cast away his people? Read.
God forbid.
Meaning no. God has not cast away the Israelites. Read.
For I also am an Israelite.
Paul said, I also am an Israelite. That's the New Testament.